Hello everyone, we're outside Vinous Reverie here in Walnut Creek, California, off Ignacio Valley Road in South Maine. We're going to go inside and talk with Igor. He is the proprietor of the establishment. This is a great place. I found this kind of by accident. I was referred to this wine shop by a couple of friends. So we're going to go inside and check it out. Stay tuned for Wine by the Bay TV here from Walnut Creek, California. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Wine by the Bay TV. I'm your host George Bachara, sponsored by Goosehead Insurance, the Bachara Agency. We are here in Walnut Creek with Igor. We are at a local wine shop. I am not going to try and pronounce it because my French stinks. So give us the name, please.
It's Vinous Reverie. So
I wouldn't even come close.
So Vinous, it's basically vine is the root. And reverie is a dream. So loosely translated, it's a wine dream. That's kind of the idea.
Oh, okay.
For my shop,
I would have never known that. So that's awesome. Igor has been nice enough to sit down with us for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna shoot some video of the place, and we'll do some still shots. But we have a little bit of his time before he opens, so I wanted to take a minute and just kind of introduce him to you. We are off of Ignacio Valley Road and Main Street, is that?
North Main and North Broadway, right in the middle of the block.
And I'll drop in a map, guys, so you'll be able to find this place very easily, and we'll do some links in the description box for your website and your Instagram and all that kind of stuff as well.
And I have a parking in the back, which people don't know if you're traveling on Ignacio Valley Road, but there's free parking in the back of the store.
That's very true. Like just before you get to the store, you take a hard right, and they have a parking lot in the back, and there's some other off-street parking on the other side too. So it's very easy to get in here. So that's a plus, especially in Walnut Creek. Parking has become a nightmare since they put up all those like parklet stuff for the restaurants. You can't even park in Walnut Creek anymore. So Walnut Creek is right near my house. It's about 30 minutes outside of San Francisco in the East Bay. So how long have you been at the location?
Since 2018. So I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary in August.
So well, happy anniversary!
Thank you.
My birthday's in August, so we're kind of born in the same. The store and me are born in the same month. I'm sorry. Hopefully, you have better luck than I've had in my life.
Growing the store, growing the business, it's fun and challenging at the same time. So
yeah, being a small business owner, I'm sure can't be an easy thing. So tell me about, like, obviously this isn't like a 10,000 square foot location. So I'm sure you had to be a little, judicious in your selections. So what is the focus of the wine shop? Are you more old world, more new world? Like what are you looking to achieve with the list?
So I would say about 90% of the wine selections are international. Okay. I have 10% domestic wines. I have some classics that people recognize, but for the most part of domestic wines, I like to showcase smaller producers working with like lesser known grapes. And then for the rest of the world, Europe probably dominates, France, Italy, Spain, Germany, but I still have, wines from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. I think right now makes some of the best wines in the world. So that's the specialty. And the idea behind the store was, I've been living in the East Bay, and I would notice myself going to like San Francisco frequently to go to the wine shops, because here in the East Bay, in my mind, it's dominated by California wines. So I wanted to change that. I was like, hey, I like drinking these wines. Maybe people would like to drink these wines as well. I think these are some of the best wines in the world, made by some of the kind of best, the most renowned producers in the world that are highly acclaimed. They're getting written up like in New York Times, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but we're not seeing them in the stores, right?
We're not seeing them.
You're not going to see the Total Wine or anything.
No, you're not going to see the Total Wine.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, that's good. There's only a couple of there's some small wine shops, but I feel like there aren't enough of them for the population. So we're almost forced to go to Total Wine and Bevmo a lot, and to some degree Costco. But they're going to have mainstream. They're not going to have these off producers that are known in the wine community but might not be known in a larger group. So that's awesome that you're kind of highlighting some of that stuff. And we'll, like I said, we'll walk around. I'll shoot some video of the store so you guys can see everything. But you brought over, before we get into the wine, I did want to mention that you do have a website, and I think you take internet orders and all that kind of stuff as well, right?
Yeah, so you have I ship. I have a website, VinousReverie.com. I ship. If you guys live locally in Contra Costa County, we could do a local delivery. You could order and stop in the store.
pick up, right?
Yes. And then the other big thing that I do is every Saturday between 1 and 4, I do wine tasting. You taste 5 different wines, and the theme changes every single weekend. So this weekend coming up, we're going to be having some wines from the Loire Valley in France.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Red and white?
Red and white.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
So we're going to highlight the 2 great grapes, Chenin Blanc and Cabernet Franc.
Well, that's good. Now, look, you're not gonna. There's wine tastings in all the wine stores. You're not gonna get a tasting like that at Total Wine. Nothing against Total Wine, but I mean, you're just not. And do you feel like your selection changes seasonally just a little bit? Like, do you try and rotate some stuff in and out? Or?
I rotate just about everything in and out. You know, so if I got a Sauvignon Blanc producer from New Zealand, one time wants to sell out, I get somebody else. I try not to keep the same stuff in stock because it's a finite number of selections I could have, and there's quality producers that I try to highlight all the time. It's not just kind of focused, kind of almost being lazy and bringing in the same thing all the time over. There's a lot of fun stuff out there.
Plus, it gives you a chance to taste some new stuff too, right?
I mean, there's good stuff there. So, you know, there is. You know, and sometimes you wouldn't know it if you shop at the big box stores. You just wouldn't know that. Yeah.
So, Igor, tell me about like your background. Like, where are you from? When did you come to the States? Obviously, you have a little bit of an accent. I mean, it's small, but obviously, you're not from California. I'm not either. No. So, I mean, you know.
Well, so when I left in 1989, it was still technically Soviet Union. Right now, it was from Odessa, Ukraine. So
from Ukraine.
From Ukraine, yes.
Boy, have we heard about Ukraine being in the news lately? I feel like we have.
Yeah, last couple of months.
Okay, so you got a Ukrainian boy, born and raised.
Yes.
When did you come to the States?
In '89. So
okay, so that's a long time ago. Yeah.
A long time ago, immigrated. Most of the family from Ukraine immigrated to San Francisco. So yeah, I basically grew up in San Francisco since late '80s, early '90s.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, guys, if you want to help Ukraine. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all kidding aside,
yes.
Igor, you picked out a nice wine.
Yes.
From Spain, correct?
Yes.
So, you want to tell us a little bit about the bottle?
Yeah.
And, what we're doing here?
Be like, show the wine right here.
Don't worry, I'll take a still photo and then I'll kind of cut it in so in case it's a bad lighting or whatever.
All right. So this is from the grape is called Verdeo. It's from Rueda region in Spain. It's about an hour northwest drive from Madrid. And Rueda it's a region that specializes in Verdeo grape. And Verdeo, you can kind of think of it as Sauvignon Blanc in terms of body. It's like a light-bodied wine, but it's got fantastic characteristics of its own. And the fun. So this comes from Telmo Rodriguez, one of those great producers. He makes wines in different parts of Spain. This is his Verdejo specialty. Very nice, kind of like. It has the minerality and even little salty notes on it.
Is it done in oak or is it more in steel barrels?
This is more in stainless steel.
Okay.
And one of the interesting things about this, I don't know if you are familiar with phylloxera or louse. It destroyed a lot of the vineyards in Europe in 19th, 20th century. But Verdejo, it grows on sand, which phylloxera cannot penetrate sand.
Oh.
So you have some of the oldest vines of this grape anywhere in the world.
So they didn't have to kind of find, clone, and replant like they did with a lot of Cabernet and that kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. And a lot of the vines, you probably heard of old vines, how they produce better wines. It's because they produce less grapes and more concentrated grapes, which equals better wines. So this is just like a little fun background behind the wine. So let me pour this for us. And then,
Great. 13.5 alcohol by volume, by the way, guys. And can I borrow your little white towel there? I want to get a look at the color. It's tough to see on the...
Yeah.
Well, it's tough to see here, too. It's light. I mean, it's like a straw color. Would you agree?
Yes, it's light.
Ooh, very fruity right out of the nose. And we really didn't keep this up. Like, normally I like to open these 2 hours, or at least an hour. This is a pretty new open, so I'm going to give this an aggressive kind of thing going on here. Ooh, it started out very grapefruit. Now it's got a little bit more, like I taste that like almost salt on the nose.
Yes.
And maybe a little bit of sweetness too. Maybe a little tropical.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit of that. I think once you taste it, especially on the finish, the salty notes really become more pronounced.
See if you can see the color at all. This is a very tasty wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that undertone of saltiness.
Yes.
but it's not aggressive.
No.
Like, it's complementary.
Yes.
It balances the wine very nicely. It is not super alcoholic. The 13.5 sometimes on a white wine might be a little bit high, but I think it's pretty much where it needs to be to give it some backbone, but not like kill the experience.
Well, and I think to me, this is a wine that's got fruit in the front and like that saltiness on the back, and it's kind of like beginning, middle, and end to the wine too.
I'm still tasting it.
Yeah.
No, for sure. This is a very complete wine for a white wine, and again, I'm not a white wine guy personally.
Yes.
I prefer more reds.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I've been drinking a lot of wines that are white for the channel, and this is very pleasant. And again, this is not the road travel. This isn't your buttery Chardonnay from California.
Yeah.
This isn't an overly tropical kind of Sauvignon Blanc with all kinds of lemon and lime going. This is a very nice, balanced white wine. So, if you feel the need to like bring a white wine to a party, or if you're trying to introduce somebody to something different, this is a good way to go. They're not going to know what wine you're giving them if you blind taste this.
Yes.
Like, I wouldn't have picked this out. I would have had to guess Chardonnay, but I mean, I would have been wrong, obviously.
Well, you mentioned it. I like to say that the motto of the store is it's a store for the adventurous wine drinker, and I think this is the wine that fits the mold.
Yeah, I think so. What is the price on this wine? What are you charging?
$25.
$25 a bottle. I mean, look, again, not a white wine drinker. $25. I mean, how bad can it be, right?
It's a good wine. Well, in terms of scores, it's got 92 points from Robert Parker.
Okay.
So it's got high scores too. So different people select wines differently. Some like the points, others like the adventure more than the points. So this wine's got both.
Like I say in other episodes, the point system is a good guideline.
Yes.
To let you know that this is a wine that you might like. It's not an 88 pointer that's probably out of balance somewhere. If it's in the 90s, it's at least a drinkable wine.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your style, you would enjoy, kind of tasting it and getting a new experience for it. So I appreciate the points.
And I think the only thing I would say about the points, it's especially good for wines you're unfamiliar with.
Absolutely.
So if Chardonnay, you know what a Chardonnay is. But if you never had a Verdejo, you're like, okay, I don't know what it is, but it got a good score. Let me try it.
And I never had.
Yeah.
So this is a treat. I really appreciate you introducing me to this great.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it before. Not that I know everything about wine. I know very little about wine, frankly. I'm learning with all of you. But this is a great store. Igor, you are a fountain of information.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing this wine with us. Again, we're going to put links in the description box to all of his Instagram and what else are you on? Instagram, Facebook?
Facebook, yes, absolutely.
Obviously, you have a website. I mean,
yes.
that goes without saying.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and make sure that you can find him very easily and come in, take advantage of the tasting. I may even come back on Saturday and do that Loire tasting. We'll see.
Please
yeah.
do.
If I didn't know about it ahead of time, so if I miss this one, I will definitely show up for the next one. But I mean, I'm very excited.
Yes.
Because again, road less traveled, great wine. Great wine growing region, excuse me. Loire Valley is a huge, classic French growing region.
From Atlantic coast to kind of center of France, all over.
Yeah. So you're going to get a wide variety of flavor profiles there. So so I think we did a nice job. Anything else you want to say to the folks before we check out? Yeah,
if you guys are looking for something fun and adventurous, please stop by at the store or visit me at VinousReverie.com on the website. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so Igor, George, Wine by the Bay TV, and we'll see you again next time.